Well, good evening, everyone. Today is the 13th of February, 2024. This is Tuesday evening, 6 o'clock, where we meet and we discuss general questions that you have for me. We are Tustin Longevity Center. I'm Dr. Ellithorpe, and we're a group of 8 healthcare providers, and we practice a functional integrative medicine. Our group experience provides a general format for a lot of experience in dealing with multiple chronic medical, preventative, natural hormone supportive management here. And together we meet just like we did today. Today was one of our clinical meetings where we take out time from our busy practice and we have the entire staff pause and we discuss patient care, flow dynamics, and patient, um, presentations, specific studies, recommendations amongst ourselves as clinicians, and with our wonderful staff supporting as best we can to give you the best of care here. So here in Tustin, Southern California, we are enjoying wonderful weather, and we've enjoyed the rain too. It's nice to have rain here in California. See all the lakes fill up, all the reservoirs. So this has been a long day for me. This is the end of a full work day. I'm only just getting started here at 6 o'clock, and I have got up at 5:30, and I've been working nonstop. But I'll do my best to try and answer these questions. Again, this is meant for educational purposes. This is not to be specific medical advice. It's just my opinion from a functional point of view. So we'll begin with taking our internet questions. We have a few pages of these. So what I'll do is I'll try and be as brief as I can. There is a live chat here, so you can type in on YouTube maybe some question you might have. And if this is of value to you, please like and subscribe so that we can reach more family and friends and discuss prevention and functional medicine. I'm seeing some live chat comments, so I'll start there. Harlow says, today I went to 2 different specialists for follow-ups, and they looked at my blood work. And both of them said, your test results are excellent, except your cholesterol is too high. My total cholesterol is 277, my triglycerides 80, HDL 78, LDL 130, and no, LDL is 186. They both said all your bad cholesterol is extremely high. What do you say, Dr. Rita? God bless you. Well, I don't believe there's any bad or good cholesterol. We have to have cholesterol. Now, what can harm it and burn it is a bad lifestyle. So, being a smoker, eating processed food, high carbs, not drinking enough water, not exercising, eating too late, eating too often throughout the day, not having an empty stomach to let your body digest and handle things and have a healing time. So, these lifestyle habits will generate more cellular damage. So you can see here this little damage point on the cell membrane. And then here is where the cell membrane has to get healed. And every night you go to bed, you're trying to take your daily injuries to your cell membranes all throughout your body and at nighttime heal it. So if you're eating late and burning the candle at both ends, staying up, watching YouTubes and videos and exposure, you're going to have less healing time. So good sleep is important. Good hydration is important. Now, the more and more you have these little injuries here like this, that damage, these little fragments you can see coming off of that damaged membrane, float through the body, and it talks to your liver and it says, we need cell membrane repair here. Please make more cholesterol. Now, the older we get as adults and senior citizens, we are necessarily going to have more cells that are aged, weaker, and injured. And eventually, the pileup of trying to heal your injured cell is going to slowly increase over time. So you'll have more injury eventually, and then one day you'll die because you'll have too many cells in the injured state, whether that's your heart or your lungs or your blood vessels or your brain. Therefore, since cholesterol has to be an integral part of every cell membrane from your head to your toe, every cell membrane, all these membranes here must have cholesterol in them. Cholesterol is therefore necessary in our diet, and we have to eat it, and we have to uh, repair ourselves with it. So that's why research shows that after you're 70 years old, if your cholesterol is not above 200, the likelihood of you living a long life is diminished. So a cholesterol above 200 is a healthy thing. In fact, there's a YouTube called High Cholesterol is Healthy. That's one put out by the family practice Dr. Ken Berry, and he's interviewing a PhD doctor called David Diamond. And they review the recent literature about the cholesterols and the very narrow uh, realm of probable value of using cholesterol lowering drugs. So, my suggestion is I emphasize triglycerides and HDL. HDL typically will go up with exercise. Triglycerides will come down when you lower the processed starchy carb fruit sugars. So that HDL and triglycerides should roughly be equal, which yours are. And so I would say, finally, the research and science is catching up with my 43 years of experience, vindicating me all these decades where I never pursued cholesterol lowering. I pursued trying to inspire my patient to exercise, do weight training, reduce their starch carb, stop eating late, drink more water, and this has turned out to keep me having the oldest, healthiest Medicare population in the United States. So I think they're in error. So watch that video and then tell me what you think of it next week, and type a little thing in saying, "High cholesterol is healthy" on YouTube with Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. David Diamond, and give me your feedback. Elizabeth Clark says, "Is it okay to take my vitamin B at night before bed on an empty stomach instead of the morning?" Sure. Yes, Elizabeth. In general, Bs are used in a multitude of metabolic biochemical functions for your body's needs throughout the day, hundreds and thousands of transactional biochemical pathways. And so this helps with uh, normally energy production. So we usually give it for energy. There is a kind of like a wives' tale that says, take your bees in the morning and it'll give you more energy to go throughout the day. But it doesn't necessarily mean it will interrupt your sleep if you take it at night. So I think it's just fine. Christina says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. What do you recommend for an excess of mucus? My husband works in construction, has sinus mucus and coughs, sneezes, etc." Well, he has to be well hydrated. Number one, when my husband is in construction, he is an O positive blood, and he has sneezing, congestion with all the dust and stuff. So, when appropriate, he should wear a mask if he's doing sanding or grinding, things like that. But in general, you have to be well hydrated. That way, you can blow your nose, and the mucus will clear it out. Another way is to use Argentine silver, the nasal spray you squirt up your nose. Argentine silver is really given only to doctors, high strength that it is. It's very safe, non-toxic. And the over-the-counter is, I think, called Sovereign Silver, but it's only half strength, but it's still very good. So I would go to work and squirt your nose, and maybe at lunch squirt your nose, and after work squirt your nose before you go to bed, to make sure that you don't get white blood cell reaction, thinking that the dust and particles are invading viruses or bacteria. and build up this kind of crust and so forth that is very congesting. The other thing is taking quercetin. Quercetin is a natural antihistamine that is very calming to help try and stop mast cell degranulation. Plus, it's also an antiviral. It acts as an ionophore, which helps zinc penetrate through that cell membrane so that inside of the cell, the zinc will help prevent replication of viral particles and their bad material. So hopefully that'll help. Then we have Joanne. Good evening. How does one gain weight on a low carb diet? Thanks. Well, the highest calorie density is in fat. So if you choose the more fat-filled meat products, so you want a lot of marbling in your meat. If you put butter on your steaks and on your chicken and on your salmon and fish and on your pork chops and on your eggs and so forth, dip your shrimp or crab or lobster in butter. That will substantially raise your calories. And being on a carnivore diet, you said low carb, right? On a low carb diet, you're not carnivore. I don't see a problem with taking vegetables, things like a yam occasionally, or maybe some squash, things like that. That would probably be helpful to you. So those are some suggestions I would give. Christina said, I found out my good bacteria is very low. I am battling bad E. coli and strep in my gut. What should I do to get my good bacteria up to normal? What foods are good? Drinks, probiotics? Well, this is an emerging field of research and study. I think it's a complement to the doctors who have forged the pathway for the past 40, 50 years. We have been doing complete digestive stool analysis and all these predominance of flora and digestive parameters to help our patients that led gastroenterologists and some in research, because almost everyone has a hurt bowel with the lousy processed foods that we have full of too many carbs and high fructose corn syrup. And this science is now breaking into mainstream science, and we're thankful that these gastroenterologists are looking at this because they see our success, and our success is based on working with a patient as their coach, their advocate, supportive, to help them reduce the carbs that would feed the bad bacteria. In general, these nasty bacteria, for the most part, thrive on a high carbohydrate, fruit, sugar diet. So dietary reduction in carbs will help you. Then research in probiotics and the science of families, and there are hundreds and thousands of families and species of probiotics. But the research is starting to show some good results. Orthomolecular is the company I work with. They have a probiotic called Orthospore Biotics, and it has probiotics at research clinical references that are looking at stool outcomes. And so that's what I use. And the studies suggest the gas produced, like in SIBO, small bowel infection overgrowth, is being well managed with orthobiotics, Orthospore Biotics. Orthomolecular also has another product called just probiotics at various different bacterial concentrations, and prepared in such a way that it will help to pass the digestive acids and then be released in the lower intestine. So I would suggest that you work with a company that has good clinical testing and physicians that have years now, decades now of experience with it. So orthomolecular probiotics or orthomolecular Orthospore Biotics. Then there is a largely E. coli enterococcal group called O'Hara's Essential Probiotics. And have used that for decades. So those are the ones I would use and be on a low carb diet. And then with testing, if we did a complete digestive stool analysis, usually these special tests will look at these families that are isolated, that are either imbalanced or dysbiotic, damaging potentially. They'll culture them and see what antibiotics, or more importantly, what natural herbs or items will inhibit their growth, such as silver, which I use the Argentine silver, or I use grapeseed extract or other herbs. And so get a complete digestive stool analysis with those sensitivities, and that will help as well. Plus, there's many other parameters. So get a good functional doctor to help you do a complete digestive stool analysis. I like the one that's done by Genova of what is it, Doctors Data in St. Charles, Illinois. They have a long history of high quality work. Laura then asks, is it safe for me to use X39 patches long term given I am a breast cancer patient, melanoma survivor? Is the stem cell activation dangerous for me given my cancer history? I don't have research on that. I can only speculate. What these things are associated with doing is uh, having a crystal that will have an energy absorption and emit a frequency that is associated with this energy production for promoting stem cell growth for repair. And we have to have stem cells. We produce them all the time. So the question isn't, do stem cells cause cancer? The question is, what environment in healthy repair of a human body goes wrong that would make that cell start behaving in an aggressive self-survival mode? And the answer is in the mitochondria, or battery of the cell. For instance, if you have two cells, one is healthy and the other is a malignant cell. And let's say you take the nucleus out of the healthy cell and you put it into the malignant cell. Well, you'll see that the malignant cell will continue to be malignant and grow. Then you take another scenario where you have a healthy cell and a malignant cell, and you take the battery mitochondria out of the healthy cell and put that into the negative malignant cell with its nucleus, and it'll become healthy. So the mitochondrial metabolic theory of cancer is probably the correct answer for what causes cancer. So it is not a stem cell, it's not hormones, it's really not even genetics. These would be fringe isolates of data points, but the vast majority is our high carb processed food, high fructose corn syrup consumption, putting a dramatic strain on the engines in all of the cells to try and keep up with our high carb usage to try and burn it up. When those engines are running, they spit out free reactive oxygen species, and they bust through the walls of the cell membrane, and they're constantly like bullets shooting through the mitochondrial membranes and the cell membranes. This is like a fire going on inside the cell, and eventually it damages it to the point that the cell cannot get its energy requirements from the normal process of ATP Krebs cycle production. Then it goes into a facultative anaerobic type of energy production, like a fermentation, like beer or mold, yeast, things like this that are surviving in a dark, acidic, low oxygen environment. So it is our lifestyle that is harming us. It is really the environmental toxins that we've allowed industry to dump on us. And it really is a need for energy. So I would, if I were a speculating person and we could get financing for research on this, but you can't because it's a good old buddies club at the CDC and the NIH. They have a grip on all financing to support pharmaceutical research, and they get kickback royalties. In fact, the CDC, I think, owns maybe 50 patents or more, according to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s research and other people's study on the uh, the patents and royalty kickbacks that the NIH and CDC people get. And so they're not going to look for any natural way. They're not going to send us money for food research. And what food research is done, it's largely conducted by the industry itself. And do you think the industry is going to finance a study to really truly look at the damaging effect of fructose or sugar? No, they're going to finance a study, and the people who get the grants at the universities, uh, they're going to not look at the thing critically. They'll look the other way, and they'll give the nice report to the food industries so that they get another grant next year. That's their income. And so, unfortunately, we ask for the damages that are coming to us. Only here can we stand up like adults, adult men and women, and start saying no to this criminal mafia type system, and uh, try and live a healthy lifestyle by choice. Uh, let's go on to that. So I think that X39 is probably a good thing. Uh, Jeff M says, I'm shooting for 150 grams of protein a day, a gram per pound of body weight. To achieve this in a 6-hour window, I supplement 25 to 50 of those unflavored whey protein isolate. Do you disagree with this supplementation? Jeff, I don't know the quality of the producer of your whey isolate. And so it really depends on uh, the quality of the product. There's also a argument that taking a food such as whey, which is a dairy product, and taking it day after day after day after day may through your gut generate a gut associated lymphoid tissue reaction to the dairy products as a whole, and you'll start getting inflammation, and that inflammation will make more damage in your body and be a tearing down to you. So I don't know what liver has, how many grams are in like 10 ounces, 12 ounces of liver, but I'm suspicious of these protein supplements, Jeff. Carolyn says, is it okay for migraine sufferers to get IV rescue meds once a month or so? The concern is that the rescue injection or IV contains steroids. Carolyn, I think our experience with treating migraine patients is very successful here. There is something that is triggering a vascular constriction and then the vasodilation that creates the pain in the lining of the meninges, the coverings of the brain. And that is triggered typically by food allergies. Uh, Probably some of the most dramatic turnarounds I see is in people who have regular migraine headaches who go on a carnivore diet for maybe 2 months or 3 months. That means they eliminate all food lectins. And of course, we encourage the free range organic sources. Uh, and so Am I for IV rescue and steroids in it? I think in the short term, but I think you should find a functional doctor that's going to work with you to find the solution. Most of us are underhydrated and don't drink enough water. That in itself can dilute some of the autoimmune inflammatory reactive particles that would trigger a migraine, just the dilution effect of it. Taking anti-inflammatory systemic enzymes at a hefty dose, maybe 5 enzymes twice a day on an empty stomach, often reduces it. Natural progesterone is associated with reducing it. So I think there's other things you can do, Carolyn, and I hope you find a good functional doctor to try and help you sort through your blood type, your lifestyle, your diet, and your hydration status, as well as exercise. Exercise is also well associated with migraine reduction. So hopefully that would help you. Laura says, thanks to your guidance, I am doing very well. Well, we praise the Lord, Laura. If I hear you correctly, as long as I behave myself and continue with a healthy lifestyle, the X39 would not trigger another cancer in me. Is that correct? That's my opinion, Laura. Absolutely. And I do favor the research and the patches that they have, and I have experience with them myself. So yeah, let me go to some of these email questions. Christina says, what is your opinion on wireless earbuds and smartwatches? Well, you're receiving electromagnetic energy waves to geolocate you and to get information. The more complex and sophisticated, the more exposure you're getting to these electromagnetic energy waves. On your wrist, I'm not so sure that that's of a concern, but in your ears, if you're just chronically using them, I think getting this electromagnetic energy near your ears and brain area has some concern to it, and I do not think it is being adequately studied. I have seen some reports and research that tends to alarm me. But these electromagnetic waves, I think the one thing that frightens me is the world control of our movements and our activities that is more concerning to me than any immediate cellular damage. But I think both need to be looked into. Um, it's kind of funny. Who am I that I should have a phone on me 24/7, data systems coming at me? I'm not that important a person, If I can't do what I need to do when I'm at work here under more safe conditions, I think this is kind of foolishness. And I tend to think it's more about our control of our bodies and our whereabouts for total totalitarian control. Christina also asks, do you know of any patients who have had a reaction to taking fruit and veggie capsule vitamins? Well, if you're talking about Juice Plus, because that's the one I use that has the most research, I am going to say it would be extremely rare, and this is based on their statements of taking the fruit or vegetable or berry capsules with maybe symptoms of nausea. I've never seen rash. I've never seen wheezing. I've never seen hives or welts. So is it possible? It's so complex. It would be more like saying did you eat something new? What season of the year was it? What pollens were there? How much stress were you under? How well hydrated were you? How good has your sleep been? Do you have any comorbidities that would aggravate things, other illnesses? and so I would say 99.99% of the time, if you're talking about Juice Plus, such a tiny capsule of fruit and vegetable and berry concentrate exposure is so minimalistic. The phytonutrient extraction of these things without the sugar is certainly well researched to be valuable. So no, I don't think there is any real reaction to taking it. But now there's a lot of copycats because the research is so good on Juice Plus. I would say that these various brands, there's about 14 other brands, and these are powders that often are put into a drink, and you drink them like this. Just the mere exposure to this room light and the sunlight is going to be degrading any nutritive and antioxidant value of that drink. Plus, the whole massiveness of that exposure down your gut is going to really increase your body's reactivity to seeing that constant exposure to so much volume of maybe the spinach powder or the kale powder in it or whatever thing is in it. So I'm very negative on those other ones. I hope they turn out good. I hope that research emerges on them. I mean, I hope the best for them. But you have to remember, we aren't supported as physicians who are doing the hard work of trying to sort out, flying out to plants, looking at them, looking at their assay, their sampling sections, their logs, and uh, um, archiving of their sample lots and everything. And so what doctors do that? Well, I do. I go out there. I've gone to these plants where they make Juice Plus, where they do uh, the orthomolecular or Zymogen products and others. And it's a hard thing. So if you want to say what we recommend here, we have put the research and the hard work in looking at it. Gwendolyn asks, once you are on thyroid medication, I've been on 15 milligrams of Armour now for a year. Is it possible to get off of it? Yes. Is it typically used for life? Very often. Remember, doctors are trained with the shadow of pharmaceutical dominance in their medical school training. Even the medical schools and the grants and their boards are influenced by the filth of money to procure a theme understanding of the training of the medical students. And that is to prescribe things and to keep the pharmaceutical company growing and to have this consistent usage of drugs. So it is not taught at medical school how to keep a person well. It is not taught how they physiologically work very well. It is not taught what nutritive parameters, biochemistry enough to help that doctor have confidence to think on a biochemical membrane level of damage and repair and lifestyle relationships. So, yeah, you can stop things. You have to see your doctor. I don't know your specific case. Also, if fasting, should I still take my thyroid pill in the morning? I do whenever I'm fasting. I take everything except my digestive enzymes because I'm not eating food. So the answer is yes on that. Elena says, Dr. Rita, I've been taking 200 milligrams of progesterone prescribed by my gynecologist for 6 months, twice a day for 10 days a month in my luteal phase for my polyglandular issue. A blood draw showed no significant change. The doctor has now doubled the dose, believes that I have an absorption issue. Is there a vitamin that can help with absorption at TLC? Well, it's safe. Progesterone is very safe, so I feel it's very safe for you to double the dose. Okay. I would ask to find out what is your blood type. The most common person who has digestion and absorption issues is blood type A. Maybe find out what your blood type is and then help yourself with using, again, orthomolecular digestive enzymes. And I have mine right here. In fact, I forgot to take it after my lunch brunch. So guess what? Even though it's 3.5, 4 hours ago, I'm still going to take it because at 70, I am just not digesting as fast as I used to. All right, very good on that. So thank you for the question to help me remind me to take my digestive enzyme. So start with that, Elena. Ryan, I'm a marathon runner and occasionally get chelation therapy. The benefits are fantastic, but I do notice that I get muscle spasms of cramping in my calf muscles. and hands after the therapy session. I do eat bananas for the potassium to try to counteract it, but there is a higher sugar content which spikes my triglyceride levels as I get um, and then the question doesn't continue. So Ryan, find out what your blood type is, and if you're A, you definitely need to take a multi-mineral albion chelated amino acid minerals. This is the highest quality of absorption of multi-minerals: the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, the selenium, and chromium and boron, etc. So we use this from orthomolecular TLC multi-mineral, and I would take it every night, no matter what. And that way you're not eating bananas. Now, another very excellent source of minerals is eating meat, fish, liver, chicken, turkey, eggs. They are very high in amino acid chelated minerals. And try that first, okay? Helen asks, once a person going through menopause starts bioidentical hormones, do they need to stay on it for the rest of their life? Or are there natural ways to treat it, such as addressing issues around the APA access pre-hormone system? Adrenal, what, pituitary access is probably what you're saying. Well, the answer is there are lifestyles, diets that support serotonin production, dopamine production, and serotonin-rich foods, which, if you take them, will help you make more of that, which will tend to have you more pleasant and less irritable. Most women with menopause and low estradiol have irritability and lower moods. There are herbs that act as estrogen mimickers, like dong quai, black cohosh, and others. There is the vitamin D that also is very helpful in the mood elevation. So there are things that you can do, but I believe that God gave us hormones for a good reason. A man has his hormones all the way to his dying day. So I take hormones. I've taken them ever since my late 30s. So half my life, at least 35 years, maybe 33 years, I've been on hormone replacement therapy all my life. And I again joke that I want my husband to stick some in my casket when I die, just as a joke. And I don't see any harm in it at all. So why worry about these things? I take the D because I want to be happy and immune protected and my bones healthy. Uh, I take the hormones so I have better mental acuity and memory. I take the hormones to help with general contractor kind of reconstruction throughout my whole body, my skin thickness, my heart health, my immune health. There are receptors all over the body. I had a patient come in today and she had a hysterectomy. And so her gynecologist, she sees, well, she had a hysterectomy because she had the very first stage 1A of endometrial cancer. So they did an endometrial biopsy because she had some breakthrough bleeding on her hormone replacement therapy. And she had the hysterectomy. And her oncologist, gynecologist followed her up and said, you know, you don't need progesterone because you don't have a uterus anymore. And yet there's progesterone receptors in your brain and your breasts and along various aspects of your body, throughout your body. And I found it most amusing that a specialist who is an oncologist, gynecologist, didn't know that. So it's frustrating, folks. You get to a point in your life where you say, I've learned enough, I'm done. I'll practice with what I know my 30, 40 years. And you start fading away and you don't keep up with the literature. I need my hormones to keep up with the literature so I don't fade. And I keep on studying things. So, yes, you stay on them. No, but if you want to stop them, yeah, you can stop them. And there's no harm in stopping them, to my knowledge, immediately. You can just cold turkey stop it. I think it's probably better to taper off over the course of a month, but you can cold turkey stop it if you want to. Ryan says, oh no, I did that one. How long go through? Okay. Lily says, hello, my daughter gets a migraine every time around her menstrual cycle. What is she lacking? Well, it isn't, well, she is going, all women who start their period are more inflamed. You have had an ovulation 2 weeks before, hopefully, probably not in today's stress. And then that triggers the lining of the uterus to shed, and that's a breakdown cellular process. So you're getting all these fragments. Again, this picture is so wonderful. You're getting tons of this fragments that are showing up that trigger inflammatory cascade. You know, you heard in the COVID alleged pandemic that if you took that or got this thing, funny how the flu went away completely all that time, but let's pretend it was COVID. It triggers damage. That damage triggers an inflammatory response, which they said was hyper exaggerated, which created the severe lung and respiratory distress. Well, they say the same thing is happening on a very mild level with menstrual cycle. Therefore, take anti-inflammatories, drink more water, lower the carbs, because a high carb diet, junk food, processed food is an inflammatory process promoting joint achy, headachy producing phenomena. And so drink, 80 ounces of water as you get close to the start of your period. Take systemic enzymes like Vitalzyme on an empty stomach twice a day. Great for cramps. And I recommend all girls age 13 and over to use natural progesterone day 15 through 25. Just rub it on your skin, on your tummy, on your legs. Natural over-the-counter human identical progesterone to rapidly get that lining cleared off and supportive of the normal cycle. So that's what I would do. Nancy says, our son has restless leg syndrome. I also have had it in the past. Do you know what could cause this? Is there anything he could take that would help this condition? Well, we don't know the cause of restless leg syndrome. There's some neuropathy. We believe, again, I'm going to use this picture. So as you look at this little damage to a cell membrane right there, just that little damage right there, pretend that your legs at the end of the day have typically had so much exposure to all these little usage fragments, these little particles that come off of that damaged site. They are setting up inflammation. This general inflammation, especially if you're not repairing it at the rate by eating healthy phospholipids, eggs, egg yolks, meat, fish, chicken with the skin on it, fish, and all these things, your repair rate is dropping. So your inflammation level is staying a little bit higher. So this would be helped with more hydration, and it would be helped with more phospholipids, and also the multi-minerals. Most all the restless leg syndromes I have seen, we have improved with taking TLC multi-minerals and using 3 of them. That's the standard dose on it. But often they'll take a double dose until they're all resolved. Get those inflammatory processed foods out of the diet, drink more water, and you'll see it improve. That's my suggestion there. Lily says, hi, doctor. I'm 64 and my DEXA scan shows I have osteoporosis. What can help me strengthen my bones? Thank you. Well, stomping. Women don't chase chickens anymore. We don't chase down the goose. We don't chase the food anymore to chop the head off. We're not chopping wood. We're not carrying heavy water, and we are wearing cushy, rubberized, gushy soles on our shoes. When women all throughout the past had a hard old, a shoe, it was like the old grandma black shoe. and or they were in moccasins, and they would hit the ground and the floor with their body weight without cushioning. That piezoelectric stimulus up the bone, when you jam it like that, when you jam your two bones together like that, generate a shock wave and a little electrical potential, action potential along the periosteum lining on that bone that shakes it up and says, "We're alive, we're alive." Osteoblasts, do your work. Osteoclasts, watch that you don't tear down too much. So I often tell my patients to get your ushy gushy gym shoes off and put hard shoes on for your walks. If you're a runner and you're bounding like that and jumping, then you can wear those ushy gushy shoes. Um, the other thing is get a rubber hammer and hit something hard, maybe 10 strikes. So you get that shake up in your bones and your wrists. So like a little kid who is angry, throwing a tantrum, just stomping on the floor, stomp for 10 seconds like that twice a day. Weight training, heavy weight training helps it. Eating healthy protein, because remember, your bones aren't just made of calcium. They have to have that collagen material to lay the minerals on it. So you have to eat plenty of protein. You have to have plenty of water, microcirculation, EDTA chelation would help. But then vitamin D3 with K2, I would take at least 5,000 international units a day. See your doctor, check your level, check your chemistry with your liver enzymes in it. Make sure that you're getting in ranges above 80 on your vitamin D level. I go between 80 and 120 to really get the bones building. And then natural hormone replacement would be very valuable. Progesterone and estradiol are well known to help stimulate bone growth. So that's how I would approach it. Justine says, can seizures, chronic, be caused by heavy metal accumulation or the body naturally detoxifying itself? Have you heard anything about Dr. Dan Pompa, Utah area, and his cellular detox program? No, I haven't, but I need to write that one down. His name is Dr. Dan Pompa. Dr. Dan POMPA, cellular detox program. Okay, and anything that damages these cell membranes to your nerves and everything, and as you bioaccumulate heavy metals, they are inert, they're inorganic. We don't have any pathway to detox your body from it. Zero, nada, nothing. Therefore, using EDTA chelation is the most broad spectrum, universal, best tested, 70 plus years of experience. I've had over 43 years of experience with it and been around it since I was 7 years old with awareness and knowledge. So I have 63 years of experience around chelation therapy. And I just find people who use it regularly live better circulation lives and live longer. So yeah, I think you can trigger damage to the DNA, to the mitochondria, to the nerve membrane, and get all manner of damage from heavy metal bioaccumulation. Sherry says, have you heard of zeolite powder? Yes, I have, for helping remove heavy metals. I don't find their data, their science, their accumulation. They don't have conferences, I'm unaware of any doctor out there. Like I was the one who promoted developing with the team our EDTA suppositories. I hit the road with my book, my publication. I was out there in front of physicians. I taught it. I was hammering the road and beating it down. So I had the science and the data on it. Where is zeolite? Where are the doctors with all their great results from zeolite? They're not out there. I just don't see them. So I'm unimpressed with it. I do understand that it has a electrochemical association, ionic charge that attracts heavy metals to it. So I understand the chemistry of it. physical chemistry of it. But I just do not see the clinical study trials or anyone really pushing it that is a physician out there who really saw it help their angina patients, their post-heart attack patients, their dementia patients, their cancer patients, their chronic lung disease patients. So when I see that kind of science start developing, and if it's out there and I don't know about it, then bring it on, bring it to me, educate me, keep me informed. But I don't see it with it. I've been trying to remove heavy metals with calcium disodium EDTA suppositories, and it's been slow moving, so I'm trying zeolite. It seems to have a lot of great success with people. It's helped me so much already with my Crohn's. Any thoughts? Well, I gave you my thoughts on it. The EDTA suppository that's out there today is not the EDTA suppository matrix that I was involved in studying it. They're mixing it with cocoa butter, and that's just a standard suppository base that you put your drugs in to carry any transrectal suppository medication. We had a very special matrix developed that would enhance the dissolving and the delivery of it. We did all the pharmacokinetics. And so I don't know if you're using a quality EDTA suppository product anymore. Carrie says, hi, Dr. Rita. What maintenance doses of ivermectin do you recommend? Liver and kidneys are both fine. I usually use 0.4 milligram per kilogram. And so go depending on your weight in kilogram. For a man who's around 200 pounds, I would say somewhere in the realm of 20 milligram twice a week. Women who are about 112 to 140 pounds, usually I recommend 12 milligrams. And then it's roughly 0.4 milligram per kilogram as a total single capsule compounded, used twice a week. Gwen says, hi, Dr. Rita. I am a new TLC patient with Dr. Johnson. Wonderful. Regarding thyroid medication, I'm on 15 milligrams of Armour. When doing intermittent fasting, should I still take the thyroid first thing in the morning? I would, or wait until 30 minutes before I stop fasting. And once on thyroid medication, do you see patients come off this medicine, or is it safe for life? It's safe for life, but I think, 15 milligrams is so small. I think if you improve and clean up your lifestyle, you could probably get off of that, but it's not going to be harmful lifelong. So we finished that page. And let's see, I saw some new things coming here. Just a minute. Let me see where I last was at on the chat here. I got down to IV rescue for migraine, Laura Powers. All right, Dennis says popular myth suggests that sugar causes hyperactivity. If we inject someone with sugar, will it make them hyper? Well, the high sugar consumption processed foods, rapidly absorbed, highly processed starches and fruit sugars, high fructose corn syrup, is associated with an initial stimulation of the body trying to process this. That general mitochondria all over your cells producing free radical species is associated with the sense of alarm, epinephrine. And therefore, yes, there's hyperactivity with exposure to sugars when it's a large bolus. But then the side effect of the drop or the insulin response to try and get that sugar used up will create a crash. And that's what was traditionally called hypoglycemia. Laura Parr says, great. Thank you so much, Dr. E. God bless you. I'm thankful he led me to you. Well, I'm thankful to God for all. We have a job. I'm here to serve my Lord, my King, my sovereign. I see God as my King because I want to go and be with him now, but I am in his kingdom now. His kingdom is here right on earth. And if you do a study in the Bible on every time it says the kingdom of heaven or kingdom of God, it's here right now. and I'm in it, and I want to serve him, and I want to behave in a way every day that I'm bringing glory and honor to his name. So I live under the authority of a king, and that is Jesus Christ and God the Father and his Holy Spirit. Yeah, so I am just serving him. Don't praise me. And whenever you see in Revelations, when you read that, you see here where John sees a fellow saint who is now passed on and in heaven, and he shows him something revelatory, and he bows down to him, and it says in Revelations, "Don't bow to me. I am a man just like you." And so, please, Laura, I am doing my job here, and I'm thankful God gave me this job. All right, because you are his creation, and I better take good care of you to the best of my ability. All right, Jeff says, I have a follow up with Dr. Johnson in March. I will stop the whey protein isolate between now and then to see what my blood work shows. Thank you, Dr. E. I hope I'm right. I feel, my 43 years of practice and my dad in food research, and I'm glad that people like his name just slipped my he wrote his name slipped it. He's talking about all the lectins. He's the guy from Loma Linda. Anyway, I'm glad these doctors who have tons of money, which I think you don't want to know what I think on that. Anyway, they're coming now in their elder years when they can't be the hotshot surgeon anymore, and their eyes don't serve them as well. Uh, and then they have all these nutrient programs. Good for them, because the food allergy exposure is a real thing. So, Jeff, yeah, I think you're doing the right thing that way. Harlow says, I heard that hydrogen water is helpful for migraines. Yes, it is. And we have seen that here clinically ourselves. We use the Izumi water, Izumi, and we have research on it. My colleague who helped me with the toxamine suppository, Bob Centenary, helped write the book about water and hydrogen, and I wrote a foreword for him on it. Yeah, so that extragen positive hydrogen ion is very valuable to help quench free radical damage. So remember I said how this is a free radical damage. Let's get to that point here. Yeah. So the free radical damage injuring, creating inflammation. So if you have a sink to receive radical damaged electrons like a proton from the hydrogen water, you're going to get quieting of the situation. Yeah. Beagle Mom says, doesn't hormone replacement cause cancer? No, no, no. And so at the end, we're getting near the end here. Beagle Mom, I want to tell you, there's a book out there called Estrogen Matters. I forget the author's name, but the name of the book is Estrogen Matters. Now, if you took a biopsy of my breast right now, I would have estrogen receptors and progesterone receptors, and that means I have normal breast cells. Now, if you get a biopsy at a site where there's a lump, and that biopsy shows a tendency of that cell to appear angry and malignant in its presentation on the pathology microscope, but it has estrogen receptors and progesterone receptors, it is telling you that it is a normal breast cell that is undergoing irritation, which I'm calling mitochondrial metabolic stress. So the mitochondria in those breast cells have been damaged chronically over years, and it is now behaving metabolically in a different pattern. It hasn't become so damaged that it is a negative HER2 negative, estrogen negative, progesterone negative. The triple negative breast cancers are the most angry, malignant ones, and they don't have a good prognosis, although ours have done well here and are still doing wonderful, and they're back on their hormone replacement therapy. So I'm here with real life experience seeing these things, and I'm supposed to believe that estrogen causes cancer? No, that's a simple brain's interpretation, and it's an industry interpretation. I have just not seen this in clinical experience here. So let's see where we are now. Uh, where I lost my place. How do you? Oh, Carolyn says, how do you find out your blood type? You go to the lab and you have a doctor request your blood type, or go donate your blood and find out what it is. Yeah, so you got to pay for it. Carolyn, you want something in this world that's really good, you got to pay for it. Don't think government loves you. Government is a evil that is necessary. So you have to have, our forefathers said, they feared most that our government would grow in size and reach, and it has, and it's become a beast, a monster, just like the pharmaceuticals. We better, rein it in. Yeah, pay for it yourself if you want it. Beagle Mom says, "Oh, I did that. Doesn't as hormone cause cancer? No." Essie says, "Hi, Essie. Hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I've been taking Juice Plus for 20 years per hour." For 20 years per hour. Recommendation: is there anything better out there? I have not seen it, Essie. The long-term, even DNA research data on Juice Plus is showing in multiple studies. Again, it's not just one, that DNA damage is dramatically reduced by taking Juice Plus. Plus, remember how I'm saying it's reducing all these free radical damage points? Yeah, it actually reduces it too. So I will never stop. Okay. I will never stop using my Juice Plus. RMJ says, we've heard all these questions and answers previously. Is this a repeat program? No, it's just people need to hear it over and over again. LUWA says, what do you brush your teeth with? I have Argentine silver, and I just use that. I swish with it. RMJ says, I mean all the written questions, not the ones in the chart. They are new. Okay, good. Well, Joanne says, amen. Beagle Mom, thank you for an amazing testimony. Okay, praise the Lord. Sean the Baptist, Dr. Stephen Grundry. Yeah, that's right. Well, bless his heart. I'm so glad that he has all these financiers for this. I better watch what I say. Maybe if we have a real live meeting, and I have meetings out here, I can speak more honestly. Beagle Mom, is diverticulosis managed by fiber? As the literature suggests, fiber is not a friend of mine since I have slow transit. Any other suggestion? I tell you, I am for phospholipids because that will repair the membrane right there in your everywhere in your body, whether it's your colon, your brain, migraine, anything. So going on a carnivore diet is probably the most uninflaming, life-extending, anti-diabetic, anti-dementia, anti-heart attack, anti-joint pain, anti-diverticulosis diet I've ever seen, and it's not a high fiber diet. So no, fiber doesn't have all the glory that we thought it had, and so there's good research suggesting that it could be more limited. So with it being 7:03 now, I can't take any more questions, but I certainly enjoyed everything, and I hope all of you will like and subscribe, share this with your family and friends. Please, when you send in your questions, I'd appreciate if you would let me know if you would like an actual in-person, be doing a once or twice a month in-person, or if you would like me to do a second YouTube at a different time. And I'd be happy to do that. So just let me know on your emails and keep me informed that way. So I want to say God bless to you all. Stay safe and take charge of your health because no one will. And there are others who are trying to use subliminal means through propaganda and social influencing to destroy your health so they can make money off your misery. Fight, fight, fight. Take care of your wonderful God-given body. Good night.